Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Ruby Gill, and I feel honored to welcome you all on the behalf of lovely professional university for taking a keen interest in today's webinar entitled as Dream Placements at LPU. So attendees, I'm sure you'll feel enriched with the knowledge after the completion of today's webinar. So kindly allow me to introduce our experts. Dr. Harpal Thetti, Professor and Director, Division of Career Services, Lovely Professional University. He is a technology enthusiast, digital native, avid learner, passionate educationist, researcher, and a proven academic thought leader in the field of higher education. He has been quite instrumental in elevating the visibility of brand LPU amongst the corporate world. Testimony of the same is overall 10x times increase in number of corporate hiring future leaders from LPU, exponential rise in addition of pedigree and marquee brands, elevation of average, mean, median, and highest packages offered to students across 30 plus schools and 200 plus courses. Sharp rise in inking of niche corporate MOUs and industry-backed courses, formulation of COEs, course integration and curriculum updation. To his credit, he has been recognized as a senior IEEE member. Also, he has been among 3 professors chosen pan-India by the leadership team at Wipro Technologies for the coveted Innovation Chair and Professor at Mission 10X Concept Center under the Mission 10X initiative of Wipro. Further, he has reviewed 3 books on signal and system, and he is a proud member on the editorial board of numerous journals and conferences of repute. So, sir, it's a privilege to have you on board with us today. Thank you so much for joining. I would also like to welcome our admission expert, Mr. Neeraj Sharma, Senior Officer, Lovely Professional University. With an experience of 15 years, his expertise lies in business development, marketing, and product promotion. And attendees today, he'll give you an insight of eligibility, fee, and scholarship, which I'm sure will make you save a lot of money. And in addition to that, he'll also be sharing the infrastructure part of the university. So thank you, sir, for joining us. So with this, we'll begin today's webinar, and I welcome you all once again to the webinar and hope that you all will have a great interaction with the experts. And today, Dr. Harpal Thetti will be discussing about the placement, that is skyrocketed placement. We have 100% placement we have at LPU. So he'll be discussing about that, how you can gain that confidence, how you can gain those skills which are essential to get that your desired job. So we have Dr. Harpal Thetti with us. So sir, over to you for the content of the day.
Thank you so much, Professor Ruby. I think you have built up a great platform for us to talk to. I will only try and live up to your expectations. So let me first welcome all the viewers wherever you have joined us from. I hope that all of you are keeping safe. I hope that you guys are doing great. And I hope that you are eager, like all of us, to see you in the campus itself. So with this, let me build up my deck, and then let me give you small indicators as to what we as an ecosystem have been doing with a lot of our students, and how our students have been performing, and what kind of roles, what kind of companies, amalgamation of roles and companies our students have been working along with. So I'll share some stories with each one of you. Give me a thumbs up when you can see my screen. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
It is visible. Correct. So let me quickly plug this away. Yeah, so the first thing which I want to tell you is that your university, which is Lovely Professional University, which by far is the single largest campus university, private campus university in the country, have been leaving no stone unturned to make great careers for our students, because I've been very vocal of the fact that getting jobs is not that difficult, but then making great career out of it is where the trick lies, and how you can do it. Because we have done it with a lot of our students who have passed in all these years. We would like to emulate the same with each one of you. Uh, for the starters, let me tell you that we call all our students as Vertos. So Vertos meaning change agents. So we want all of you to be change agents, because we want that you should do great for yourself, for your parents, for the entire ecosystem, as well as for your alma mater. So this is what my slide will look like. So for the next few minutes, whatever time I'll be having, and I'll be discussing along with you, I'll take you through this impactful journey of curating great careers at LPU, and how we have done this with a lot of your seniors, and how eager we are to do it with each one of you now. And how do we prepare our students? Because as I said, that is where the trick lies. And I'll leave you with some of glimpses of our growth partners. So all our hiring partners, we do not call them as hiring partners, rather we call them as growth partners. So these are three indicators on which I'm going to talk about today. Yeah. So this is basically a lift of McKinsey's report, which talks about the kind of innovation that has happened in workspace, as well as the teaching learning ecosystem in last couple of years, thanks to COVID. People are now talking more about gig economy. People are talking more about remote working. People are talking about digital as a tool, so that they can put a differentiator in whatever they are trying to work from anywhere, those kind of concept coming in. And then obviously we have seen that with a lot of things getting automated, the nature of the job is changing. I'm not saying that the jobs are being taken away. I'm saying that the nature of the job has changed. So I'll give you some glimpses as to how and what the nature of job has changed, and what is expected from freshers like you. Let me first start with good news. Good news is that whenever there is a good times, or difficult times, or challenging times into the market, the pyramid model will always suffice. Now, what do you mean by the pyramid model? The pyramid model means that the guys who are just graduate from the colleges, they come at the lower stunk of the pyramid, which means that whenever there are challenging or good times, a mix of both of it, there will always be chances that you'll be picked up for good salaries, good roles, and good packages. So this is the good news. Now, how do you actually captivate this good news is what I'm trying to talk about in this entire deliberation today. So a straight lift from where I've started the last slide, or where I've left the last slide, as a lot of people are now talking about going back to offices, but then some piece of companies will always now remain from work from home. And we have been reading all these reports where people are talking about people being very aggressive from work from home kind of a concept. When COVID was here, business travel was at a halt, but then now it has picked up. It has picked up like anything now. Leisure travel, as I say, has gone down. People are very cautious as to when and how to work with. Automation has actually gone up, and this will only go up with the advent of and the growth of the digital. Correct. So these arrows basically talk about the changing workspace. The changing workspace is basically very I'll say very enthusiastically looked upon by people like you. Now think of a scenario where the same workplace will have people who were born when I was born in the early 80s, people who were born in 90s, people whom we call as Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Zs. So it's an amalgamation of just about all these people working together for a common goal. So think of how exciting that workplace is going to be, and the companies today are thinking of innovative ways to actually bring the best out of all these generations. So the recruitment process, as I said, went viral, virtual, and then a lot of these companies will have some piece of being virtual. Employees have started working from home. See this picture. So if you can see this picture speaks 1,000 words. And I just coined up a word couple of minutes back. I talked about gig economy. So India will now experiment more on gig economy, which means that I know for sure that a lot of big companies are actually toying on this idea, which means if, example, you are really good at UI UX, you will keep doing UI UX not for one company but for 7 companies at the same time. So that is how this kind of an experiment will deep drench into the thought process of Indian freshers now. So this is, and the companies are very much aware of this fact. Now this is where the most exciting part of my presentation starts. So if you can see, this is my logo, the logo of your university, which talks about Virtuos cutting through the rays of light across geographies, across businesses. And if you can see towards the backdrop, so the backdrop is basically a picture of a wall, which we have taken from block number 32, where we are housed at LPU. It talks about a lot of logos. So if you can see, there are a lot of logos embedded at the back. So these logos are logos where some of your seniors are working, and they have done great for themselves and for the companies itself. We will share more stories. Each story is basically a great story for the students to be shared across. So we'll share all these stories once you are there face to face. Once you think that you will travel a path of excellence along with us. But then I'm going to give you some glimpses of it now. Some facts and figures which are stucking enough. I can talk about 1800 plus recruiters. So my website today talks about 2000 plus recruiters. Now if you do a reverse calculation, divide 2000 by 365, which is the number of days which a year have, so almost about 4.5 companies every day. And if you minus Sundays and Saturdays and the holidays, so we do roughly about 10 companies the entire process in a single day is what we do at LPU. The highest package, I feel that numbers are numbers, but then I just wanted to seed these numbers in your mind. So the highest package which has been offered to a student of ours, where we have just done an update in our social handles, is 64 lakh rupees by Google, and is 62.72 lakh rupees for a great company to work with, which we have talked about in our social media. So that has been backed by a student of computer science majors. The highest stipend, on the other hand, at this point in time, as I speak to you, is about 1.6 lakh rupees per month. Yeah, 1.6 lakh rupees per month. 110 recruiters out of these 2000 plus recruiters at the same packages which they offer at IIMs, IITs, NITs, and a lot of triple ITs. They offer our students as well. Some are bettering that, some are touching that bar. 600 plus companies have offered dream offers. Now, the way we have categorized companies at LPU is that we have seen their Fortune 500 rankings, we have seen their Fortune 100 rankings, we have seen what kind of roles they are giving to our students, and that's how we have benchmarked with the best of the institutes nationally, internationally, and then we have come up with this word where we say that any company which is paying you more than about 5 lakh rupees, so we are putting them into a dream slot, and then any company which pays you more than about 10 lakh rupees, so we have put them into super dream slots. So I'm pretty much elated, excited, happy to share that we have beaten all our numbers of whatever we have done thus far with the batch which is going to graduate in the summers of 22. Most of them have written the exams, they are finally going and joining their companies, but then these are some of the facts and figures which I wanted to share across with you. And please see to the last number, which is a mammoth number, 18,000 plus offers. Now this keeps on updating every day. So as I speak today, this has actually gone to about 19,500 offers which we have generated for the batch which is going to graduate in the summers of 22. That's what we have done in terms of numbers. So we do celebrate a day zero and a day one, and a day zero is a concept wherein we try and work along with companies which will give you meteor roles and meteor packages. Now let me tell something very exciting which will actually entice your young minds. Unlike any other places, or unlike very few places in the country, LPU, we have been experimenting this 1 year internship program very, very aggressively. So as I say, 1 year internship is basically for all our students who are into the final year of any of the courses which they are taking at a university, which means that it works two ways. So a company comes in, does a complete drive, and then they take you as an intern, and they give you some hefty stipends. And we have kept really strict bars for ourselves as to whom do we allow at premium slots, how do we do it, which all companies, which all packages, and all that. So that is one way of doing it. The second way of doing it is where they say that they will take the students as a full-time employee, but they will not like to wait for a complete year Rather, they would like to expose the students to the best of the minds, with the best of the pedagogies, with the best of the tools, even when you are in your final year of your any of the course. So that is what we have been doing. So we have been actually celebrating this 1 year internship very aggressively, and then happy to share that a lot of corporates have actually come up, and they're experimenting this with us. um, these figures are a little old figures, but then still they are figures. So 1150 students have been picked up at day one last year. 739 offers by Cognizant, 428 by Capgemini, 100 by DXC, and then after that we did so many other companies by the name of Emphasis, L&T, LTTS, Mindtree, and whatnot. So these are some of the facts and figures. Again, I left from where I've left my last slide. So the highest offering is 62.72 lakh rupees, 64 now for Google. And if you cautiously wait for our social handles update, you will see a figure which is mammoth in couple of days time from now. Computer science, computer applications rather, is about 31 lakh rupees. Management, we've done about 21 lakh rupees. Engineering non-circuit branches, we have done about 19.25 lakh rupees. Agriculture and food tech, we have done about 19.25 lakh rupees. All our other celebrated schools like fashion, interior, multimedia, we have done about 15 lakh rupees. And for other programs, we have got about 30 programs for your FYI and about 200 plus courses. The highest offering is about 10 lakh rupees. This again is a straight lift from McKinsey's report, and I so consciously I put this here because now I wanted to seed this growth perspective in your mind. So whenever you're talking about great careers, I invite you to start this experiment today itself. So what you should do is that your resume should talk about your story, and please be cognizant of the fact that your story is your story, which means that your story and your roommate's story is not same, which means that the definition of success for you is a little different from how your roommate will define success too. So for that to happen, I invite you to take a piece of paper today and then write down the companies on which you want to work tomorrow after the completion of your course, or talk about the roles which you want to take up subsequently. But that should be at the center of the paper. And then on the periphery of the paper, start writing which all companies are offering this, what are the roles, are they national offers, or are they international offers, and then work along with your teaching fraternity and are finishing school for example. So for your FYI, we have got 200 faculties who are working along with you day in, day out, just to train you on the soft skills part of it, soft aspects part. So I'll talk a little bit more about it in my subsequent slides. So keep populating that document. So that document over a period of time for about, let's say, 2 years, when you keep working on that, that becomes your resume. So your resume should be very individualistic to what your story is. That's my first download to each one of you who is listening to this. How do you do that? For doing that, you need to be staying curious. You need to be staying in the very recent as to what is happening around the world, what companies are offering, which companies are offering, what geography they're offering, what roles they're offering. How you can make a meaningful intervention into that. So that's how that will pop up once you are staying very curious. Um, Stay very humble. That's very critical, because success is a very loud master. So you have to stay really humble and tolerate ambiguity as well. Whenever you are trying to take a perspective, take a 360-degree perspective, which means that you should look at the problem statement from multifaceted vision. That'll give you basically the big picture. uh, Pursue the occurrent behavior. So focus on what's actually happening, because I've just said you need to be staying in the recent into the market. Now, tap on the collective intelligence, which means that a collection of all people put together is always more intelligent than anybody individualistic. So think of opportunities where you can work in heterogeneous groups, try and understand their perspective as well, and then try and see the larger picture of a problem statement, not a snippet of a problem statement. And then once you've done all this, you should be very vocal in your story, how it is showed and told to the world in all the social handles. Now I'll give you an example here. All of us are using mobile phones today, smart mobile phones, and most of us are also using smart watches and other kind of things, which means that without you knowing about it, people are now actually benchmarking you. So a lot of your behavior goes into it, and a lot of AI ML programs runs into program. and this new vertical which has popped up now, which according to Gartner will be a very very critical point for any kind of a hiring in subsequent years of time, is called as Internet of Behavior. Let me tell that word again. It is called as Internet of Behavior, which means that your behavior across social handles which you are using has to be in sync. You cannot be at X at maybe a LinkedIn and a Y at maybe an Instagram. So your stories should be always in sync to your resume, which I've just told you what you should curate with a lot of passion, a lot of care, and a lot of input from people who have actually seen this and been there, done that, and done that with a lot of your seniors as well. So that's very very critical. So Internet of Behavior is something which you should be very very conscious about, because no, slowly we are coming to a situation where no, whenever a company will come to a campus, before asking the database from us, they will actually ask for your social handles from us, saying that student A, if he or she makes meaning to my opportunity at a career which I am offering, please help us with their LinkedIn profile. We would like to see as to what they have been doing over LinkedIn. So that's how staying alive, staying active, and staying very relevant on all the social handles is very very critical. So for me, point number 6 is very very critical. So you need to be showing and telling thing whatever you have been doing. Now this is very critical. This is the crux of my presentation here. So as I said, we call each of our students to be as change agents. We want them to behave change agents. We want them to sleep as change agents, and we want to talk them as change agents. Hence, we call them as workers. So how do we prepare our workers? So this is what we start working along with each one of you right from the first stage step, which means that come first year, once you take admission in any of the courses, we will start working along with you. We'll see as to where you stand, what is your story, and what are steps which needs to be done so that your story becomes our story. And then we all of us work at sync, so that if there are certain gaps, how do you do the assessment of taking over those gaps, and then try and see if we can make a pakka story for you. So what we do is that we work along with you right from the first year, as I said. We start working along on the soft aspects part of it to start with, and then subsequently we take it towards a trade aspect part of it, which means that we work very very aggressively on a T model. So a T model looks like a alphabet T, capital T, wherein you keep on adding your traits, but then in some of the traits you really go deep down so that you understand the in and out of that trait. So that is how we work along with each of our students. We custom made your resume according to what your story is, how you have worked towards culminating that story. So our teaching learning system is very able. They have been doing this for a lot of students in yesteryears, of late, recent as well. So we would like to do the same kind of story with each one of you. Now this is my team, as I say. So we've got a complete finishing school, and we call that school to be a center of professional enhancement, which talks about verbal ability, because no, understand that tomorrow you'll have to work in a culture which is different from what our culture is, correct? So we give you this culture input as well. We'll give you foreign language inputs as well. So we will give you a lot of analytical inputs as well. Soft skills, as I say, is a larger umbrella. So under this larger umbrella, we will make your story really really sellable. And then, as I just said, we also work along with each one of you, so that no, all of you should work along in foreign language proficiency. So we work with the best of the agencies nationally, so that we benchmark ourselves with the best of the benchmarks which are available. So this is one of the inputs. Now this is let me go back. So what we do is that we do talk about the assessments. We work along with the corporate world at tandem. So whenever possible, we try and take their inputs and reverse integrate them into our curriculum. A lot of credited and non-credited courses. Thus, we do a lot of simulations before the actual placement happens. So we do a lot of mock drives. We run a series which is called as Know Your Companies, which talks about the company which is hiring, which talks about the role which is going to be hired, which you are going to be hired for. Students run clubs and activities are a great integral part of how we train you, because no, we feel that there are two things. A, you should know your trade well. B, you should be able to speak really well. So this is what these clubs and activities actually help you to do this. We encourage our students to participate in all the competitive events and the hackathons, makeathons, ideathons, mixture of makeathons, ideathons, and just whatever is happening around for national as well as international opportunities. We work along with a lot of companies to depute a lot of campus ambassadors. So these campus ambassadors talk about the company, their culture, the work role which they're going to offer to the students. We do a lot of workshops, lecture and webinar series like the webinar which you are listening today. There are multiple webinars which keep on happening every day depending upon what your taste is. We try and develop your taste and your story very, very holistically. And then we also help you understand as to what your page should look like in LinkedIn or maybe a GitHub or maybe a Weebly and all those kind of things. And then we do organize a lot of industrial visits. We do organize events when the industry comes down to your campus, and then you do a lot of chai pe charcha with all these leaders who have done great businesses across geographies, across businesses and whatnot. And then we talk about the industry tie-ups. A lot of our course which we are offering are co-branded with a lot of marquee companies. So we try and understand that whatever their requirements are, we put that into our curriculum. And the first right of rejection for all these courses stay with these companies. I can give examples of Google here. I can give example of Informatica here. I can give example of Virtusa, Bosch, Bosch and Siemens. So all these kind of courses we have been working along with these marquee companies. And then towards the end, when the campus do come in, we work on video resumes of each one of you. So we have gone a step ahead because we understand that digital is going to stay here for long now. So we work along with your digital portfolio as well. We work along on your resume, which should talk about your intervention and your definition of success. That results to this slide, which talks about Microsoft, Amazon, DXC, Cognizant, D-Shaw. You see, I mean, it's a plethora of companies which are there. And for the paucity of space and to do justice with the name which I've put here, I could have not shown you all the 2000 companies. But then what I'm doing is that I'm giving you a link. So what you have to do is that it's pretty simple. You come down to my home page, which is lpu.in. Then tap on the placement tab. Once you tap on the placement tab, it will take you to a page which talks about all the companies which do visit your campus. And then towards the end of it, we have put a drop box. In the Dropbox, we have put all the fraternities, all the 30 schools, all the 200 plus courses which the university has to offer. So let's say that you are from, let's say that you are from multimedia and you want to see what type of companies, what type of roles comes in. So you need to click multimedia there and then see for yourself as to what kind of companies, what type of roles we have been working along with this. So we invite all of you to travel this journey along with us at India's most vibrant, largest single campus private university, which for me is not a university, is a universe in itself. Because whatever we have done with a lot of passion and with a lot of care. And that's how. Let me say thanks to you for being such a patient listener to me. We'll do a lot of more such kind of interventions in times to come, and then I'll invite a lot of my corporate friends also to talk along with their journey along with us. But then with this, I am open for the questions, so we can take questions right now, or we can take questions towards the end of it. I leave it to the moderator.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your vision. And yes, sir, we have few queries from the attendees. So with your permission, we'll take up those queries now only, sir.
We can do that. We can do that. I leave it to you.
All right, sir. No, sir, with your permission, we need your permission, sir. Okay.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead.
All right, sir. So, sir, we have very few, so many aspirants, those who are interested in pharmacy program, and they want to know about the placements of pharmacy program. So, can you please throw some light on this, sir?
Very pertinent, and I'm very happy that there are a lot of takers for pharmacy because India as an ecosystem will do really, really great with the knowledge of technology, with the farming as an intervention which is coming in, and with the pharmacy. See what we have done as an ecosystem when COVID hit. India was at the forefront of giving world the vaccination. So all these kind of companies which have been doing all these kind of great work are very much there in your campus. So I can talk of an Abbott or I can talk of a GSK. So they have been hiring for various roles from us, including the R&D roles. So very exciting times, I must say. And then the best part of studying at a university like LPU is that you have students from engineering, you have students from management, you have students from other verticals also, which means that you when you start looking at a problem statement, you start looking at a problem statement from all 360 degree of it, which means that you then do a pitch also, you make a digital aspect of it as well, and then you're really good at the trade part of it as well, which means that the opportunity which you will get here, think of an opportunity, in the same room, people from heterogeneous groups are staying in, people not only from India but from elsewhere as well. So it's a great learning in itself. So all these kind of opportunities are there. Let me make it simple for you. If at all there are great opportunities available in any other fraternity, that company will be there at your campus. My answer.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So we'll take up another query from Simran Sharma. So the query is, do Google and Microsoft recruit MBA students as well? Because he has chosen MBA Business Analytics in as specialization at LPU.
So answer is yes, because no BA. So Simran, if you can just use the chat and say what is your basic degree? I mean, what have you done in UG? If you can just help me with that, I can put a more structured answer to your query.
So he hasn't answered yet.
Got it. So yeah, for MBA school as well. So
He has completed BCom honors. We just got the
BCom
reply
honors
from.
from where?
Yes,
BCom honors from where? Simran, if you can just help me with that, because no, that's how interesting it is. That's how I'm really excited, and that's how I'm asking you these questions.
yes, sir. So, so he haven't answered that question, but he has just said that I'm currently working as an audit associate at EY.
Oh, great. Oh,
What the
great. So we work along with EY very, very aggressively. Um, yes, it do visit, and especially for the BA roles, no, because these roles will give you opportunities to work across teams. So yes, we have been working along with this story, and again, let me put another perspective to you. So what we try and do is that if at all it is not possible to share lot of a resume with a company, like let's say as an example Google, or let's say an example Microsoft. So what we do is that we try and understand what their needs are. We come back, sit on the drawing board, sit with your teaching learning fraternity, and try and find out the worthy profiles. So these profiles, as I said, will be worthy once you start working on yourself. Then what we do is that once we've made that MIS, we go back to the company saying that, hey, you talked about a BA role, and these are my 10 students. Instead of sharing a resume of a deck of about, let's say, 100 students, I'm just sharing 10 students. I have done my own kind of an assessment with the students. I've run my assessments, and that's how I've been able to give these 10 students who are the best fit for the role which you have shared with us. That is the methodology which we have been applying. Yeah, my answer.
Thank you so much, sir. So, there is another question from Rajneesh Kumar. He wants to know that he is about to do MCA. So, can the MCA students sit with BTech students during the placements?
So 2022, Rajneesh, was a great year. That gave us a lot of insights as to how the company's thought process have changed. So there have been opportunities. I can name one company here. A company is called as VMware. So they were hiring only my engineering and MBA folks all these years. But then this year, we were able to do something exclusively for MCA students. There are multiple of other companies, maybe Philips for that matter, so many other companies which have done great for MCA students. So yes, yes, we try and see that whenever a company comes in for BTech, the MCA folks are also allowed to sit in wherever it is possible. If not, companies have been very conscious to say that we would like to hire only students who have done MCAs. So this trend is actually picked up in the country. Not for me, just about everywhere in the country.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, we'll take up another question. That question is related to you, sir, your life.
My life.
So, yes, sir, attendee wants to know that what kind of challenges you have faced during your academic session, your placement, which is not like there at LPU, not existing at LPU, and they will not face that if they enroll in LPU.
Very interesting question. So I have done so many seminars, but that this question has popped up for the first time. So if you happen to look at my LinkedIn profile, people say that it is very really nicely made. I do not know, but then I try and put a lot of conscious effort to do that. So I did my engineering back then when there was very few concept of placements. And if you ask me about my life, I'll say I'm a teacher, because no, I wanted to I wanted to prove my dad wrong. So this was a small conversation which I had with my dad. So he said that you can be anything in this world, but you cannot be a teacher. So I've been very happily proving him wrong all these years now. It's been 20 years. Um, 2007, I was handpicked by Mr. Premji's team to teach how to teach engineering because they wanted to improve the employability of the students. For the first time, we were actually video recorded. We talked about Bloom's taxonomy. We talked about how you become a high impact presentation presenter for that matter. We talked about Gardner's multiple intelligence theory, how you put a matrix and teach engineering inside the classes so that no students are more employable. So for me, if you say how I've been able to build up all this, I've been able to build up all this because of students only. So just for the fact that I've been a very passionate teacher all these years, and that has actually helped me out. So one good student goes back to another good student, and then goes back to another student. I'll share a small anecdote here. So my father, after I've done about 15 years, a decade and a half of my job, he came to my house and he said that I've not asked you all these years, but then what do you make in terms of salary? I said an X amount is what I made. He said, I'm not very happy. Yaar. You should give me a more better answer. So I said, Papa, let me try and give you an answer by tomorrow morning when we sit for breakfast. So this was the answer which I've given to him, and that has been my way of looking at life. So I said next day morning when we met, I said, Dad, I have 100 such students, if not more, at least 100 such students, whom I call at 12 o'clock at night, and I say that, hey, this is my account number. Whatever you have earned thus far in your life, give it in my account number. They'll give it to me. Then he said, "ठीक है भाई, you are getting respect is what and nothing else, no other job can give you." That has been my story. So placement, let me tell you, is no fluke. It's a science. So you will have to work along with the corporates. You'll have to understand as to what the next big move in the country internationally is going to happen. You'll have to keep looking at national markets, how things are moving up. So very exciting space to be. So for me, basically, it has been the fact that if you find great jobs for a student of yours, not him or her, his generation, the next generation is going to remember you as well. That has been my story.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing that. And so there are so many questions bombarded on the screen, but we'll take, because of the dearth of the time, we'll take last but not the least question from Anchal Pava. So the attendee wants to know that he wants to seek your advice on this, sir. That she's selected in Wipro and TCS, and but she's totally confused that what have to do, either join the company or go for MCA. So basically, I believe she's doing BCA, and so she got placed in Wipro and TCS. So, sir, over to you. What you want to advise the attendee?
See, both are great companies to work to. As I say, definition of success depends upon the individual. So you will have to define for yourself that would you like to go ahead and take some experience right now in terms of the work culture with both these great companies are offering, or rather you would like to go back to the classes and then make a better story for yourself. So I leave it to you for this to be decided. But then both the companies are great companies to work with, have good, great work culture to work with. That's my candid input here.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for resolving all the queries of our attendees. And thank you so much for your valuable time. And attendees, you have heard our mentorship. So I will quickly give you a glimpse of our website, that how you can enroll to our website, where you can find all the information related to admission, related to what sir has just said. So you can click on www.lpu.in. You can search this thing and you can go to admissions. You can see all the programs over here. And if you want to see the webinars which we are doing on daily purpose of different programs, you can go to LPU's Edifair webinars. You can click on this and you will be directed towards another page where you can see all the upcoming webinars as well as the past webinars we have done. So you can click on that. I'm so sorry, there's some kind of internet issue is there. but it will direct you towards the upcoming webinars and the past webinars, and there you can see the videos of the past webinars, and you can register on the upcoming webinars. So with this, I would like to conclude today's session, and I would advise all the attendees that decisions determine destiny. So don't just sit back and wait for the last date. Decide your own dates and get the admission as soon as possible. So with this, we conclude today's session. I would like to express my appreciation to the experts for their valuable contribution to our webinar, which was on the topic Dream Placements at LPU. So my deepest gratitude goes to all who attended this webinar and helped to make it such a successful one. And experts, I'm sure your years of experience, your years of research will definitely help the audience to choose the right path. So till next time, I, Ruby Gill, finally sign off. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, sir.